Okay, thank you for waiting. We'd like to start the title, Special Symposium, inviting the Dr. Ted Nelson. And he will come soon. And before that, just opening remarks, first by Jun Murai.
Are we going to welcome Ted then? I'll do. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. It was a very sudden notice that, but so many people gathered together. I really appreciate your participation and the registration. Now, Ted. Yeah, Ted's going to sit over there. Yeah, let me briefly, the program we've been, kind of planning for. Why, I was thinking about the 1904. This book called The Computer Live was given to me in 1974 when I was a second year at the Keio University. And so this book invoked me, pushed me for the computer science study. So thank you very much, Ted. And then this book means a lot to me. And since then, I was thinking about a lot of opportunity, but he himself visited, fortunately, and taking a professorship at the SFC, Shonan Fujisawa campus. So we are kind of a colleague each other. So I started to think about somehow if we could invite him back to Keio University. That's been my long-term 30, 40 years dream. And finally, it's achieved. So welcome, Ted Nelson. So I'm gonna pass the microphone to our president, Kohei Ito-san. Yeah, here. Thank you.
So Dr. Ted Nelson, welcome back to Keio University. Thank you so much for your contribution as a professor. And also we welcome you as one of the alumni of Keio University. You received PhD from Keio University in 2002 in media and governance. So we are so happy to have such distinguished alumnus coming home to Keio University. I'm not in a position to go through all of your glorious contributions to computer science, but because I'm in the field of quantum computing, and I've learned a little bit about computer science as well, I know how much your concept and also your development of the hypertext has contributed to the advancement of the computer world. And the year you published the hypertext concept, 1965 was the year I was born. So I feel very, I should say, fortunate to have your footprint already implemented on the year of my birth, so that I can really study based on your progress and so on. Jun Murai, of course, is known as a father of the internet. As he said, he was a second-year student at Keio University when he read your book, and soon after he decided to install internet to Keio University, and then after that it was a big burst of internet happening. I, of course, read a number of your articles, noticing that you're such an ideal pursuer, and I always learn a lot from your pursuing for ideal kind of a attitude rather than compromising to what business wants and so on. So democratization of internet, democratization of the computer science as a whole, and also, of course, societal impact. I feel tremendously fortunate to have you as one of our teachers in this world. So thank you so much, and welcome back to Keio again.
Thank you, President. Okay. Back to the Sano-san's speech. Are you ready? Sure, please.
Hi, welcome back to Keio University, TED. I'm Hitomi Sano from CCRC. It's truly an honor to have you here with CCRC again. The CCRC was established in 2018 by the grandfather and the father of the internet here. Keio has upheld a strong academic tradition for about 166 years since its founding. Keio was founded in 1858 by Yukichi Fukuzawa. He was the key person in building modern Japanese society. So today, I want to present Fukuzawa as the father of information civilization. Fukuzawa believed that communication is the core of human nature. He saw civilization as a growth of human intelligence and morality. And he said civilization theory is a progress of collective human spirits. Over 150 years ago, Fukuzawa realized that the development of information technology advances civilization, regardless of East or West world. He also founded that building access to information is essential for the progress of the human spirit and civilization. On the other hand, Fukuzawa noted that the rapid growth of information technology could confuse people's minds. And I think this illustration shows Fukuzawa's vision of an ideal civilization. On the right side, his moral influence of all men within the four seas are brothers. It is a concept from Confucius. On the left side, we can see Fukuzawa's ideas of technology and global progress. In the Fukuzawa's time, steam power was the driving force of information transmission. So he said it was the steam civilization. However, today, it has been replaced by the internet, which was created by innovators like those people here. Already, we had new information technologies such as the internet and hypertext, web, artificial intelligence. So, as we move into the internet civilization, we must develop new wisdom and morals that cover all people on the earth. Once again, Ted, welcome back to Keio University.
Okay. Thank you, Sano-san. Welcome to Keio. This is a present from CCRC. It's a
the cup pictured with pictures this Fukuzawa's picture.
It is a very special present from CCRC. Okay.
All right. Yeah, so you notice that this is a planet, and all the cables, and the telephone pole, and the messenger is carrying the important messages. We call it the hikyaku, the person sitting on the table. So the Keio University decided to make this as a symbolic concept was in 1866, and then so they produced this beer mug. So every time you drink the beer, then you remember Keio University, right? Okay, by saying that, probably this is the end of the opening part, right? Okay, so we're going to switch to the Japanese session so that you can go down. And thank you very much for participating. And for the opening part is permanent. Okay, so see you soon. なんでこれが今日ができたかっていう話を簡単にして、それから私ね、実はこの間にすごい巨大な国際学会にキーノートで出て、この国際学会のたんびにテッド・ネルソン知ってる人手挙げてって言ってやってんだよね。半分以上海外のサイエンスの学会でいないんですよね、誰も。それでというわけで皆さんよく来てくれましたあんまりもはや分かってる人がだんだんいないんじゃないかと。それで、ちょっとアイディアを作りまして、ちょっとテッドが少しリラックスして今日一日過ごせるように隙間を空けてあるんで、その間を利用してですね、大変重要な、ことを、皆さんにテッドの講演が始まる前に共有しておこうということで、この時間を設けました。それで最初に申し上げたようにこの話ちゃんとやりたいなってずっと夢みたいに思ってたんですけれども、それでアスキーのファウンダーの西和彦さんと朝日新聞の服部克也さんと3人で、ずっと議論してまして、どうやって呼ぼうかって言って、すごい大変な時を過ごしてですね、連絡を取って来たいって言うからスケジュール今日に決めてたんですよ、すごい前から。それでところが、この連絡が途絶えたりメール読んでくれなかったりいろんなことがあってですね、それでもうダメかな、これ準備もあるしなみたいなんですごい弱気になっているんだけど、3人でずっと励まし合って、やっぱこれは誰か村井さんもうテッドの家まで行ってそれで連れてくるぐらいやんなきゃダメだよって言って本当にやってくれましてですね、学生が。それでよく結果論で今日があるのは、あれ行ってなかったら絶対なかったですねそれでというわけで、ものすごいとこに住んでて、それを空港まで連れてきて日本まで来てもらうっていうんで、もうね、これで今日この日がうまく、最後までいくとかなり私はほっとしてもう風船がしぼんじゃうんじゃないかっていうぐらいちょっとやってきましたので、それでですね、ちょっとここからは主に3人の方に、日本語で、非常に昔からのテッドをよく知っていて、その、彼のやってきたこともよく分かっているお3人の方に、ちょっと時間を取っていって、何分あるのかなこれ、これだと私とテッド・ネルソンのコーナーですから、田中先生含めて、3時ちょっと前までやれってこと30分ぐらいじゃあ1人10分ぐらいでちょっと、もっと使ってもいいけど、ちょっと一人ずつちょっと皆さんにテッド・ネルソンってこういう人なんだよとか、俺にとってはこうだったって、どなたからでもやっぱじゃあ服部さんからお願いします。
皆さんこんにちは。見かけた顔っていうか古い懐かしい顔も見えますけども私のようなものがなんでここに出てるのかよくわかんないんですけど、村井さんに拉致されてもうギリギリにやれよっていう話になって、逃げが効かなくなってここに至ったわけですけども、私のようなものが皆さんに偉そうにテッド・ネルソンさんってこういう人なんていうのはちょっと言うのはおこがましいんですけども、きっと私が偉そうに言えるのはきっと テッド・ネルソンさんに会ったのが大体の人より長いということかなって、それしか、まあ、取り柄はないんですけどね。で、今朝じゃない、今入ってくるときに、インタビューの一枚、ペラッとしたのありますけど、これは私が1990、もう30年も前に、テッド・ネルソンさんがまあ30歳若い頃ですね、来たときに、当時朝日パソコンというなんか、パソコン雑誌がもうなくなっちゃったんですけども、まああったんですね。で、そこでは、デジタル業界の素晴らしい人が来たら全部インタビューしようということで、もうネルソンさんが来たらきっと田中先生が、招待したんだと思いますけど、日本に講演に来るっていうから捕まえてお話を伺ったと。で、その時のインタビューをちょっと読んでいただくとちょっと古いかもしれないですけど、基本は変わってないと思うので、どんな人かっていう簡単な記述があると思います。かっこいいですよね。テッド・ネルソンさんは、お父様がラルフ・ネルソンというすごい、有名な監督さんで、それで、まあ、お母様は女優さんで、だから、映画スターになったかもしれないですけども、まあ、ご両親がちょっと離婚されてしまって、その後、いろいろコンピューターサイエンスとか社会学をやられているうちに、ハイパーテキスト。テッド・ネルソンといえばハイパーテキスト。皆さん、ハイパーテキスト分かんない人は今日来ちゃいけないと思いますけど、大丈夫ですね。そういう概念を最初に提唱された人ですと。まあ、僕らの世代では、テッド・ネルソン知らないと、業界潜りって言われるわけですから、一応皆さん知ってるふりをして聞いててくださいね。で、まあ、その時のインタビューで、まあ、偉そうに僕も一緒に写真撮ろうよとか言って、すごいフレンドリーで、まあ、素晴らしい人なんですけども、僕が最初に会ったのは1980年代ぐらいでアメリカにちょっと行ってる時に、コンピューターの会議とか行くと必ず手を挙げる変な人がいるんですね。最初に質問して、わけわかんない質問する人がいるんですよ。で、ヒッピーみたいな人がいて、誰なんですかと思ったら、テッド・ネルソンっていう有名な人だよって言われて、で、初めて気づいたんですけども、後で勉強してみたら、あ、そんなすごい人だと。で、彼は自分の実際に、まあ書いたね、本とか配ってたんで、これ来て彼に書いてもらったんですけど、彼が提唱しているハイパーテキストっていうのは、テキストがハイパーで、いわゆる文章が相互に高いレベルで繋がってますよって、いわゆるリファレンス、まあ、インターネットでいうリンクですよね。で、それを相互に情報が、普通の情報っていうのは別に関係性は明示されてないですよね。この文章は実は何とかさんがオリジナルだとか、まあ、脚注とかね、そういう形では論文なんかではやりますけども、普通はそれがどっから来た言葉だとか全部わかんないんですけど、彼は、こう、ちっちゃい時すごく本が大好きな少年だったらしいんですね。で、哲学も好きで、なんかこういうことやりたいって、まあきっと落ち着きがない子供だったと思うんですけど、とにかく頭いいけどもちょろちょろしてて、で、彼がコンピューターに会って、これだって思ったわけですよ。で、お父さんが一応はソージャーブルーとか作ってる有名な監督なんですけど、ほとんど記憶はないって言ってましたけど、自分も映画を作るっていうことを思って、映画を撮るのはいいんだけど、後で編集するのすごい大変だって、この情報とこれ入れてこうしないとって、いや、こんなのやってらんねえよみたいな。自分の本もいっぱい読みすぎて、どの話がどこに出てたのか分かんなくなっちゃったみたいな。で、コンピューターに出会ったらこれでできるんじゃないのって60年代思ったらしいんですね。で、まあ彼が書いてくれたのは文章の中の言葉が相互にリンクっていうか関連し合ってますよっていうのをコンピューターだったらできる、簡単にできるかもしれないっていうふうに思って、ハイパーテキストっていう概念を考え出したというふうに言っています。それで彼は60年代から70年代にかけて、結局ブラウン大学でこういう新しいコンピューターを使った文章のリンク、まあ今ではインターネットが発達してるんで、まあ文章のリンクって当たり前だと思いますけど、当初のコンピューターって計算機だったんですよね。数値計算以外は邪道。こんなもんで文章検索って、まあデータベースっていうのはありましたけど、それ以外のものについては、人間の知を増幅するっていうよりも、細かい電卓のでかいやつみたいな感じだったわけですね。ところが、ネルソンさんはこの上で言葉を処理したり、リンクしたりしたら、すごい 便利なんじゃないのっていうふうにいち早く気づいたわけです。で、まあ彼が本当にいち早く、まあここに出てるのは、ネルソンさんが書かれた本とか、右の本は慶応大学で、ドクターを取った時の論文ですね。これなかなかいい、論文なんで、皆さんも今、アマゾンで買えるらしいですから、ちょっと検索してみてください。それで、この本は、コンピューターリブっていうのと、ドリームマシンっていうのが2冊いっぺんになってるんですね。不思議な本なんですね。つまり、こういうやつなんですけど、こっちがあって、裏があって、持ってらっしゃる。この2冊が上下逆にして閉じたんですね。すごくないですか？なんか2冊いっぺん見て。で、その中にいろんな彼のアイデアが、彼はね、メモマなんですよ。ともかく何でもちっちゃくメモして、リンクして、これはこうだ、こうだ、こうだってやってる人なんで、それをそのまま本にしちゃうとこういうふうになっちゃったっていう感じですね。それで、まあちょっと話がずれるんですけども、ネルソンさんにも聞いたんですけど、なんでこんな感じの本作ったのっていうふうに彼に聞いたら、いや、俺ね、ホールアースカタログって好きでこういうのをやりたかったんだよねっていうふうに言ってましたけど、ホールアースカタログって皆さん、名前聞いたことあるかもしれないですけども、1968年にスチュワート・ブラントっていう人が、ヒッピーのためのカタログを作って、それにはホールアース、つまり全地球の写真っていうのを載せて、これはまさにあれですよ。それの最終号、ホールアースエピローグっていう74年に出た本の裏側に、Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish っていう最後のメッセージが書いてあるんですね。これ右側にありますけど、それをスティーブ・ジョブズが2005年にスタンフォード大学の卒業式の時にこれを弾いて、俺が一番影響を受けたのはこれだったと。これを読んで俺はコンピューター、アップルとかその未来を考えたと言って、そこに書かれてた Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish というすげえ言葉を3回も言ってるんです。しつこくね。これが俺の信条。で、私はそれを聞いて、最初に思いついたのがテッド・ネルソンさんですね。Stay Hungry で Foolish。それと悪いですけども。逆はですね、ハングリーじゃなくてお腹いっぱい満足して、フリッシュは真面目にやってますと、それ今のサラリーマンですよね。逆で、いつもなんか考えてこういうことしたい。知的好奇心をずっと走らせて、それから人にフリッシュって言われても、俺のアイデアだからやりたい。で、それをまさに体現しているような人が、テッド・ネルソンさんだなと思ったわけです。まあ、スティーブ・ジョブズもそうだったからね、アップルコンピューターできたんであって、彼はコンピューターを作りたかったわけじゃなくて、なんか、美しいものを作りたくて、どうやらいいんだ、どうやらいいんだって言ってるうちに、なっちゃったわけですね。結果論ですね。で、まあ、そういうことを言われて、そうだなとって、僕もそういう本もちょっと、ホールアースの、これは PR になりますけど、本もやってる。それで、皆さんはもう、ここの方は全員ご存知だと思うんですけども、ご本人も自分の本の中で書かれてますけど、まあ、テッド・ネルソンさんという人がこう、急にポコッと出てきたんじゃなくて、彼もその前の先人たちの知恵に触発されて、まあ、ザナドゥっていうような、ハイパーテキストのシステムを考えたっていうことを言ってるんですけども、一番最初は、バネバー・ブッシュっていう人が、マンハッタン計画なんかでも、まあ活躍して文章を整理している MIT の先生ですね。あんまり原爆を作ってる時に文章が多くて、全部整理できないわけですよ。この論文はここに出てるからこうだっていう、もう、紙でやってたらもう無理っていう話で、彼はマイクロフィルムに全部入れて、それがこのキーワードでやって、これはこっちの文章に出てますよ、みたいなのを自動化しようっていうのを、まあ、戦後考えて、アトランティックマンスリーっていうのに書いてあるんですね。それを見て、この真ん中のエンゲルバートっていう人は、これだコンピューターは計算機じゃなくて、人間のこう、自分能力とかそういうのを高めてね、その知識を高めるための道具だっていうふうに彼はもう信じ込んで、まあ NLS っていうシステムを実際コンピューターの上に作ったりしてるんですね。ちょうどネルソンさんは同じ頃ちょっと若かったと思いますけど、彼も60年代の頭ぐらいにそういうことを考えてたんだけど、エンゲルバートっていう人がやってると。俺もやってるんでって相談したらしいですけども、それを、まあ、エンゲルバートさんはハイパーテキストとは言ってなかったので、そういうアイデアをきちんと整理して、文章と文章がリンクしてお互いに関連してますよってことをきちんと理論化したのが、まあ、 テッド・ネルソンさん。で、村井先生も出てきて、こういうふうになってるっていうのは、WWW を作ったティム・バーナー3が、テッド・ネルソンさんと話して、じゃあ俺が作るよって言って作ったのがこれだっていうことになってるわけですね。お二人はよく話したらしいですけども、ちょっとその間に構造上の違いはあるらしいですけど、ここに今日出てたテッド・ネルソンさんと下がティム・バーナー3で、俺はインターネット発明してないよって書いてあるんですけど、右にいるのが、いわゆるインターネットの父がこっちとこっちに、ね、対角線にありますけど、アメリカの父と日本の父が両方並んでますけど、こういうことで彼らは、彼の位置づけとしてはね、ものすごく簡単に言っちゃうと、テキストがネットの中とか世界中のものが相互に関連し合ってリンクするっていうことで意味を持つっていうことを、きちんと言葉としてやってきたっていうことだと思いますね。じゃあ、ここら辺で、私も長くなっちゃうんで、西さんにバトンタッチしたいと思います。
はい、ありがとうございます。マイクあるか。はい。では、西和彦さんに、和彦さんも、これが本物かって思ってる人もきっといるんじゃないかと思いますけど。
どうして私がここに呼ばれたかという一番大きな村井さんもあんまり触れたくないのか触れない理由は一時私はテッド・ネルソンの生活費を供給していた立場だったんですね。でそれは何かプロジェクトやってるっていうよりもこういう天才はお金儲けることなんて考えてないわけですね。で何してるかって言ったら周りにいる人が見かねて金をあげるというそういうことで行き着きながらえてきたと思うんですね。ね、そんな感じしません？では今日はテッド・ネルソンの業績をなんていうのか称える会なんだけどね今日本当に称えなきゃいけないのは誰かって言ったら村井さんだと思うんですね。なぜかね、こういう素晴らしいテッド・ネルソンを見出してアメリカの大学はテッド・ネルソンに博士号を出そうということはしなかったんですよ。こんなに素晴らしい仕事をした人に対してアメリカの大学はハーバードも含めてハーバードも MIT も含めてですね理由はいろいろあるんですけど彼の型破りな性格とか行動とか人との人間関係のなんていうのかな持ち方とかね。だけどそれをテッドは面白いから博士号やっちゃおうぜみたいなやったっていうんじゃなくて彼がちゃんと論文を書いて取ったわけですけどもそれを言い出したのは村井さんなわけでね。でやっぱり私は思うんだけど教員って核あるべしですよね。磨いたらダイヤモンドそれを見つけてきてそれを自分で磨いてもらう自分で論文を書いたらっていうふうに言ったという私はねそれはね本当に素晴らしいことだと思う。日本だけではなくて世界レベルのディスカバリーだと私は思うんですね。それをまず最初に言っとかなきゃいけないとじゃあそこにどうして私が出てくるのかということですけどもまずですねテッド・ネルソンと一緒にいろんなプロジェクトをやってたんです。アスキーという会社がで何をしてたかってそれはね、電子マネーのプロジェクトをやってたんです。でハイパーリンクで飛ぶとお金をチャリンと払うといういわゆる マイクロペイメントっていうのか、デックなんかもやってたんですけども、これ、日本で初めて話をするんだけれど、いわゆる私は出版社のアスキーっていうのをやっててですね、で、出版社のビジネスモデルっていうのは、広告を払ってもらってね、で食べていくっていうのと、あとは情報を売って食べていくっていうのと、2つあるわけですね。で、物販っていうのもあるんだけど、そのちょっと置いといて、で、情報を売るというところでですね、ワールドワイドウェブのそのモデルというのは、情報はみんなタダっていうことなんですね。でもそれはそれでいいんだけど、で、やがてそのワールドワイドウェブの上でその情報をパッケージング化して、そのパッケージの情報を売るっていう、電子書籍の概念とかそういうのも出てきたわけですけど、その電子書籍の概念ではなくて、例えばそのプリペイドカードで10ドルぐらいをデポジットしといて、ワールドワイドウェブでこういろいろ見ていくとですね、ワンクリック、例えば1セントでもいいからお金が取れないかという、そういうふうに思ったわけです。で、それは私がそれでビジネスをするということではなくて、世界中の出版社にとってそれがいいんじゃないか。それから世界中のオーサーにとって、いわゆる原稿を書くとか文章を書く人にとってもいいんじゃないかって、そういうふうに思ったわけです。で、テッドと、あと5人ぐらいアメリカの暗号化の専門家とかですね、電子マネーの専門家とかを読んで、それで、日本に来てくれというか、半年に一遍ぐらい日本に来てもらって、あとはいわゆるどこにいてもいいから考えてもらって、集まってテーマを決めて、また半年後に会って、またテーマを決めて、また半年後に会って、そんなことやってたわけですね。で、それで、アスキーが、ギャラを払ってたわけですね。そうすると、テッドの方も、あいつのとこ行ったら、食いぶちくれるみたいだっていうふうになるわけですね。それで、ある日突然、テッドとテッドの奥さんが来て、で、そのテッドの奥さんが、この人困ってるのよと。で、もう、人参も、キュウリも買えないとかいう、キャベツはどうって言うと、キャベツも買えないとか。ああ、それじゃダメだなとか言って、で、プロジェクトを一緒にやろう。で、それで、その時にね、どうするのって言ったら、もう一人ね、もう一人スポンサーがいるんだって。それって誰って言って、純村井とかって。で、村井さんのとこに行って、で、村井さんはスポンサーの形が、いわゆる、博士号を取らせると。それから、それで、慶応の教員にするっていう、当時の僕では絶対できなかったことを彼は、されたわけだけど。それでね、皆さんもご存知かもしれませんけど、変な人なんですよ。どう変か。ね、話をするでしょ。話をするとね、テープレコーダー出してくるんですよ。でもお前との会話は録音させてもらうからとか。で、延々と録音するんですね。私はまだ残ってるかどうかわかんないけど、テッドとの会話100本ぐらいテープが残ってる。で、そのテープ貸してくれたら昔の私が何を考えてたかっていう絶対ね、今より昔の方がね、ピカピカのことを考えてんですよ。いや、ちょっと私事で脱線して申し訳ないけど、私がね、20歳に書いた、ラブレターの、下書きが出てきたんですね、この前ね。で、一生懸命書いてて、で、自分が文章が上手くなったのは、一生懸命ラブレターを延々と書き続けたからなんだけど、それを見てみたらね、自分で自分の文章を見てね、どう思ったかって。いやー、若い哲学者だなって思ったんですね。だから自分の昔の喋ってることっていうのはすごく、意味があるし値打ちがあると思うんだけど、テッドはね、その時に何って言ってたかって言ったらね、録音したテープを全部文字に起こして、いつか、ウェブの上に載せたいと。 で、自分がずっと何十年もですよ。何十年も喋ってきたことが全部ウェブの上に言葉が載ったら、それをそのテーマごとに分けてですね、もちろんクロノロジカルに書くんですけども、テーマごとに分けてお互いにハイパーリンクを貼りたいって言ったんですね。で、私はその時に、いや、それは素晴らしい。それは絶対やるべきだと。で、それそのものがね、あなた自身になりますねという話をしたんです。でもその会話のことがものすごく自分のいわゆる気持ちの中っていうか、記憶の中で、そういうの、メンタルデポジットって言うんですけども、残っててね。で、最近私が、始めたプロジェクトがね、個人のレベルの人工知能のプロジェクトなんですけども、コンピューター、今、設計してて、まだ2、3分はいいんでしょ？それで、大丈夫。これ MSX ってコンピューターなんですけど、40年前のコンピューターではあるんだけど、今次世代のアーキテクチャも作っててね。で、このメインの基盤の上はMSX3 って言って、ゲーム機の親分みたいな、そういうアーキテクチャなんだけど、この下の方にね、何枚か、これ8枚ありますけど、ここにワンボードで、64CPU。で、これが全部で 16CPU、16枚、スタックできるようになってるんですよ。だからこれでね、1024の、メニコアの、いわゆるクラスターができるわけです。で、1024CPU が入ってたら、当然のことのように、ラージランゲージモデル、LLM ですね、動くんですね。で、何をしようとしてるか。企業の中で LLM を使うとか、それからクラウドで LLM を使うとかっていう、そういうのっていうのは、みんな、ビジネスに使うわけです。で、会社のファイル全部ぶち込むとかね。で、僕はそういう商用の LLM ではなくてですね、個人の 1024CPU で100万もしないんですね。予定の値段ですけど。で、何するか。自分のスマホの写真もメールも全部。自分のパソコンの写真もメールも全部。それからインターネットにつないで、いわゆる自分の名前、自分の過去のツイッターのサーチみたいなものを全部ここに集めてですね、それで、そこに第二の自分っていうか、この前、船井さんから来たメール出してって言ったらすぐ出てくる。ね。で、返事書いてって言ったら、いわゆるポジティブな返事を書いてって言ったら返事書いてくれると。いう個人のアルターエゴっていうか、個人のパーソナリティがここに全部集約できるような機械を今作ろうとしてるんですね。で、昨日みんなでご飯食べた時に、そういう話をしたら、テッド・ネルソンが、それ、名前、セカンドライフっていう名前がいいよって。で、ザナドゥっていうのはどうって言ったら、ね、ビル・ゲイツの家じゃないんだからと言って、あいつは俺のをパクったって怒ってましたね。そんなことでですね、彼のやってきたことがヒントで、今は僕はこんなことをやろうとしてると。それで、発想的にね、インターネットを作ったのは誰かと言ったら、それは、ネットワークを作った人もそうなんだけど、インターネットにつなぐコンピューターを作ったのは、マイクロソフトであり、アップルなわけですね。だけど、マイクロソフトであり、アップルがしたことは何かって言ったら、歴史がそれを証明してますけど、ゼロックスの、 アルトとスターのパクリなんですね。で、そのスターとアルトのそのコンピューターはそのデスクトップにファイルだけが並んでる。つまりそのデスクトップファイルマネージャーだったわけ。で、そのファイルの内容とかコンテントとかそういうものの相互関係は何も定義してないんですね。で、そのいわゆるファイルの相互関係を初めて定義したのがハイパーテキストなわけです。で、実はそのハイパーテキストという概念以外にそのネルソンはと一緒にね、私がやってたのはテレビのスクリーンにどういうユーザーインターフェースを作ればいいのか、それから携帯電話にどういうユーザーインターフェースを作ればそのいわゆるウェブのハイパーテキストとそのいわゆるコンパチビリティがあってね、できるのかって、そういう話も実はしてきたわけですね。ということで、その私の今日のお願いは、ハイパーテキストを発明した人だけど、ハイパーテキストの発明だけではありませんよという、ハイパーテキストの周りに彼のどういうビジョンがあったのか、それを皆さんで思い浮かべてというか思い回していただけたらいいかなという、いわゆるジェネラルな服部さんの紹介と、もうちょっとそのパーソナルな私のご紹介でありました。
はい。西さんどうもありがとうございました。大変、だんだん皆さんがそのいろいろな期待と理解が深まってきたと思いますけども、ぜひ田中譲先生、これずっと彼を呼んでる時にも、譲る田中と会えるのか、譲る田中と会えるのかってすごく何度も言われて、来てくださいよ先生って言って駆けつけていただきました。
そもそもですね、2日ほど前にパネルに出てくださいっていうふうに言われて、だから今日は、日本語の方はもう、フリートークでお話しさせてもらおうと思いますが、ちょっとさっきの、服部さんの最後のあれをちょっと出してもらえますかね。ちょっと後で、あれを参照しながらお話ししたいと思うんですが、で、そもそも私とテッドさんの、出会いっていうのはですね、1990年、当時私、インテリジェンパッドっていう、システムをずっとやって、いろいろコンソーシアムを作って、新しいソフトを作ろうとしてたわけですね。で、そういう関係もあって、ZIPDEC、日本情報処理開発協会さんですね、が、知的ハイパーテキストっていう、調査委員会を作られて、その他にも、JADA であるとか、あるいは、企画協会ですね、なんかも、関連のいろんな委員会を作ってくださって、で、米国の研究動向調査をするよりっていうようなことで、随分いろんなところに出かけました。で、ちょうどそういうことがあったためか、90年に通産省が情報月間にですね、のテーマに知的ハイパーテキストっていうのをテーマに選んでくださって、それでなんかいろいろ計画は自分たちのでやるので、議長をやってほしいと、チェアマンだけやってくれというので、チェアマンを引き受けたんですが、その時に招待講演で来られたのがテッド・ネルソンさんだったんです。で、なんか、非常に不思議なんですけど、非常に違いまして、で、もともとキーノート誰だったんですけど、後でパネルがあったんですが、彼にパネルも出てくれないとかって言ったら、ノーギャラで出てくれたりとかですね、逆にオーガナイザーが非常に慌てふためかれたというような、そういうことがありました。で、テッドさんのその 研究っていうのは、もともと彼は、先ほど、お二人の方おっしゃってましたけども、本当にメモまでいろんなものを、どんどんこうポストイットに書いて、で、大きなその、ノートに貼り付けていくわけですね。で、そういうのを後からこうタクソノミカルにいろいろ分類してで整理してっていうようなことをやるわけです。でそれがもうあらゆることをやってまして、例えば、高速道路におけるドライビングのストラテジー、いかにこう横から入ってこようとするような車を入らさないようにするかとかですね。そんなそのストラテジーをギロチンストラテジーとかその名付けたり、いろんな名前をつけてこうそういうことをするのが非常に好きな方だったんですね。で、ハイパーテクストっていう言葉をそのザナドっていう構想の中で出されるわけですも、もともとザナドのその考えに至った一番の理由っていうのは、このリトラリーマシンの後ろに私が特別寄稿をしたんですけども、そこにもこう触れてるんですけども、昔ジョー・グールドっていう方がニューヨークにいらっしゃったらしいんです。で、この方は宇宙の交渉史っていうのを何年もかけてこう書き綴ってられると。で、それはタイトルは非常に大行なんですが、実はニューヨークの都市で、日々起こっているようなことを、自分の身の回りのことをその書き綴ったものを書き溜めてられるという話だったんです。でところがですね、この方が亡くなられるんですね。でその後みんながどんなものを書き溜めていたんだろうっていうので一生懸命探すんですが見つからないんです。でその時にですね、テッドが考えたことっていうのは、彼自身もそうなんですけども、その出版のバリアっていうことなんですよね。その出版物として出すことのバリアっていうものを考えた。で彼はコンピューターリブっていうこの本のタイトルからも分かるようにキーワードはリベレーションなんです。その、皆さんをこう自由にすると、解放すると。でそのパブリケーションに関してここですね。その、ですからいかに、誰でもが出版するその出版社を介すというバリアを介さずに自由に世界に向けて自分の考えをその本として出せるか。でじゃあケンタッキーフライドチキンのようなああいうフランチャイズのお店をいくつもこう作ってですね、でそこにそのコンピューターを置いて、でそこに行けばいろんな人のすでに書かれたようなものも参照できて、そういったものをリファーしながら著作をしていくというようなことができないかっていうようなことを考えたんですね。それがもともとの構想なんですね。ですからいろんなコーテーションをする、引用するっていうことで、その引用をまた引用までずっとこうトレースができるようにトランスクルージョンっていうものを考えましょうと。それからさらにはロイヤリティを払う必要もあるだろうと。でただしそれはほんのちょっと引用したものに対してもちゃんとそれが支払われるようにするためにはマイクロペイメントが必要だろうと。でそういうそのロイヤリティサービス、マイクロペイメントっていうようなことも彼はザナドの中で考えたわけです。で残念ながら今のそのハイパーテクストという言葉はむしろナビゲーションのためのものであって、すでに書かれたものを読むためのハイパーテクスト、ノンリニアリーディングの方に、これはテキストの方でも いろんなその教科書を読んでも、そういうふうにこう書かれてるわけですけども、彼が本当にやりたかったのは、ノンリニアライティングの方なんですね。で、ちょうどですね、この本が多分出版の直前に、マスキー出版社さんから、テッドのところに、最後の打ち合わせの電話が入ったんです。で、ちょうどその時私、ボートハウスを訪れてまして、で、ちょっと日本語で電話してるんで、代わりに話してくれっていうふうに言われて、代わりに代理でいろいろお話を聞いたんですが、で、その関係で帰ってきたら、ちょっと特別記項を書いてくれないかというので書いたのが、この後ろの方に、ちょっとだいぶ長くなっちゃったんですが、そういう記項をさせていただきました。で、その後、しばらくして、例えば名古屋と愛知県が、AI メディアっていう、メディアスペースっていう、そういうイベントをなされたんですが、その時に、そのシンポジウムをちょっとオーガナイズしてくれというので、その時にも、テッドさんであるとか、あるいは、コンピューターグラフィックスで、昔、見られた方いらっしゃると思います。マリリン・モンローの、スカートが、地下鉄が通ると、パーッとこう、クレアあるというようなグラフィックスをやった、ナディア・マウネット・タールマンさんとダニエル・タールマンさんの、そのご夫妻を呼んだりとかですね。そういうようなことを通じていろいろやってるうちに、インテリジェントパートコンソーシアムやってる時に、札幌市が随分サポートしてくださったんですが、札幌市とそれからエレクトロニックセンターでもって、いや、テッドを呼んだらどうかという話をいただきまして、それで、ちょうど、別の用事でですね、サンフランシスコに行った時に電話をして、で、ちょうどそれが4月の1日だったもんですから、これから話すのはエイプリルフールではないよと。で、それで、招待するっていう話をさせていただいて、それから、1年間、エレクトロニックセンターの方の支援で、それからあと1年、私の方の知識メディアラボラトリーっていうのをやったんですが、それの予算でまた継続して読んで、で、ちょうどその後、慶応からお話があって、ちょっとテッドを慶応の方で呼びたいんだけど、ということで、慶応の方に彼が移ったということです。で、テッドさんはその後、これを皮切りに、なんかサウサリートから出てですね、非常に数年間、ヨーロッパを中心ですが、点々といろんな大学を回られて、それで2年ほどぐらい経ってからサウサリートに戻られたんですね。でその中には例えば、サウサンプトンのウェンディ・ホール教授が呼ばれたりとかですね、いろんな人がありました。あるいは私の友人がパリでのレストランで食事をしていたら、なんか窓からこっちを向いてトントンってやってその手を振ってるのがいるので見たらテッドだったとかですね。だから本当にいろんなところに行かれたみたいです。で、ただその後はメールでやり取りをするのがほとんどで、彼もちょっと最初の奥様が亡くなられて、で非常に大変だったんですが、その後また再婚された時に何か再婚の報告をしてもらったりとかですね、そういうメールを年に 2,3 回いただいたりしていました。で、会いたいなと思ってたんですが、なかなか私も会う機会がだんだんなくなっていて、で今回村井先生の会で久しぶりにお会いできたとで、大変ありがたく思ってます。ですからテッドさんの多分キーワードはリベレーションで、強に言いますとダグラス・エンゲルバートさんはコー・イボリューションっていうことなんですね。これは機械とそれからヒューマンビーイングの 超進化っていうのが彼のテーマですね。で、そういうキーワードを通じて見てみると、いろいろと本当に彼が一体何でそういうことをやってるのかっていうのは分かりやすくなってくるんではないかなというふうに思います。
はい、どうもどうもありがとうございました、小原先生。というわけで、だんだん気が熟してきたでしょ、これで。というわけで、10分間休憩をして、いよいよ、テッドの話を聞くことにしましょう。休憩です。よろしくお願いします。
We will start today's main event. Please welcome Ted Nelson again. Thank you, Ted. Could you give us one of our presentation? Yes, yes, please.
I have a standard slogan. There is too much to say, and it goes in all directions. So I need to tell you why I did what I did, why I thought what I thought, and why it didn't work out. I guess the place to start, as a boy, I wrote many papers in high school. I wrote many long papers, and writing is hard. Because what do you put first, and what do you put last, and what do you put in the middle? There's no determinate fashion. Some people say, some people can work from an outline, but I would rewrite it and rewrite it again. And I said I had the same problem in college. I wrote a great deal in college. I had a weekly column. You can buy my first book. It's called Life, Love, College, etc. It's on Amazon. And then I got a scholarship to Harvard, surprisingly, and I took a computer course. And they had been lying. They were lying about what computers were. They weren't for arithmetic or science. They were for anything. They were all-purpose machines. And you could put screens on them. I especially had brochures from a company called Digital Equipment Corporation. They advertised the PDP-5, which in those days only cost $25,000, but it had an interactive screen. And I said, okay, that's it. That's it. The interactive screen will be the new home of the human race. And nobody could understand what I was saying. I said it over and over, and I tried to figure out how to make screens available. Now, in 1967, at my own expense, I commuted. Let me back up. I have to mention my great friend, Douglas Engelbart. I gave a big talk in 1965, and I got a big hand, and afterwards, the guy came up to me and said, "Have you heard of Douglas Engelbart?" I said, "No," but I made a point of looking him up the next year when I got to California. So in 1966, I met Doug, and we became friends for 50 years. And he gave me the famous demo before the public saw it. The public saw the famous, it's called the mother of all demos. And I think it was 1988. In any case, he then demonstrated hypertext, outlining, and many other things, except what you didn't know is that while he had the mouse, which he's most famous for. He had the mouse as his pointer, but while he was pointed on the screen, he was typing with his left hand. So I had to fix that. And in 1967, commuting to Brown University at my own expense and very badly treated, I managed to create today's link that you don't have to type anything to click. Now, in those days, it had to be local, within the local addressing space. There was no unified address space. So you could only get to the documents in the Brown system at that time. So things had to wait. Meanwhile, I was trying to figure out how to make computers available to the people. And I chose the name Xanadu because it came from a famous poem, the part of which was lost. Someone was writing down the poem, and there was a knock at the door, and the rest of the poem was forgotten. So I wanted to create Xanadu as the magic place of literary memory where nothing is forgotten. So the poem goes like this. In Xanadu did Kublai Khan a stately pleasure-dome decree where Alph, the sacred river, ran through caverns measureless to men down to a sunless sea. Then thrice 5 miles, this is by Kublai Khan, by the way, who was the grandson of Genghis Khan. And thrice 5 miles of fertile ground with walls and towers were girdled round, and here were gardens bright with sinuous rills where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree, and there were forests ancient at the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep enchanted place which slanted down a green hill athwart a cedarn cover, a savage place, as lonely and enchanted as air beneath a waning moon was haunted by woman wailing for her demon lover. And midst these dashing rocks at once and ever, it flung up momently the sacred river. A damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abara. If I could but revive within me her symphony and song, to such a deep delight would win me that with music loud and long, I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who came would see me there, and all would cry, beware, beware, his flashing eyes, his floating hair, weave a circle round him thrice, for he on honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise. So this is a very famous poem in English. And so I wanted Xanadu to be the magic place of literary memory where nothing is forgotten. And it's gone through many different steps as it became different projects. For example, especially in 1979, the summer of 1979, I assembled a group of 4 geniuses in me: Roger Gregory, Stuart Green, Mark Miller, Roland King, and Eric Hill. And I laid out to them what I wanted it to do. I wanted it would have a file, and any quotation would transclude from the original. And they understood the ARPANET as it was presently working. I didn't know this thing. And they came up with an amazing design. And Roger continued to work on it for 10 years because he estimated that that was how long it would take. Unfortunately, a number of things went wrong in organizational politics. I'm sure you have heard of, in Japan, of organizational politics. And so that code still exists. It's been made public under the name Xanadu Green. And another Xanadu, and Mark Miller designed another one, which is called Xanadu Gold, and he tried to program it simultaneously in Smalltalk and C++, and that didn't work out either. So this universal, the universal addressing scheme that my teams tried to put together did not work. Meanwhile, of course, the internet came along. And by the way, the course I took at Harvard used the language that Dave created, Snowball. And that's how I found out what they were. But I learned especially from brochures from Digital Equipment Corporation. They put screens on them, and they would interact. And of course, the price would be going down and down and down because everyone knew Moore's Law, which was first founded by Douglas Engelbart. And first, that essentially everything will get cheaper and cheaper. And so we now have high-power computers in our pockets. So that's what's happened. So as I've said, writing is hard. I wrote a great many pieces when I was in high school, and a lot in college. And I lived in Manhattan, and I had a very sophisticated background. I saw a lot of foreign movies, and when I was 15, I saw a film called Rush Hour, and that had an impact on me like nothing I've ever seen. So there's so many ways to tell a story. Not necessarily all correct, but possibly. And that made it necessary to try to create a literary system that would allow interconnection among documents of new kinds that had not existed before. The link, as we created it as Carmody and I created it at Brown University, only worked locally. Then a guy named Tim Berners-Lee came along and got all the credit but he did something very good. He created a universal, he put all the different operating systems of the different drives into one location system, the URL. So you didn't have to know the operating system and addressing scheme of the particular drive you were going to. And that opened the whole thing up. And that meant you could have links of the type that I had wanted all the time between anything and anything else. So we have that. My junior year, I was very ambitious always. I wrote a very big philosophy paper. I called it about schematics, meaning the relation of structures to the world. And later that became my PhD thesis at Cato. I rewrote it, but still, it was good. Let me talk about making movies. I thought I was going to be a filmmaker. My father became a filmmaker. My parents were separated after 2 years, and I was raised by my mother's parents in Manhattan. But I made one film at college. You can watch it on YouTube. And I learned that editing movies, that is, taking all the footage you have and trying to put it in the right order, is an incredibly difficult process. If you have Nelson's law about movie editing, if you have N minutes of filming, it will take you N squared minutes to edit it, at least. So I had 40 minutes of film, and it took me an entire summer to get the film edited. And that was before we put the soundtrack on it. So the creative process is different in every field, but has complexities in every field that need to be understood. Software design, now, I think I was one of the first people to try to design easy-to-use software. And it took them a long I'll only say that. So more about Doug Engelbart. Engelbart is Norwegian for angel's beard. So Norwegian angels have beards. And but he grew up in the northwest corner of the United States, I believe in Seattle. And then he served in the Navy in World War II. And he said, and they started sailing out from San Francisco, and he said, "Wait a minute, the war is over." And they said, "No, you're going to go and sit in the Philippines for 6 months." And while he was there, he read the famous article by Van Nevar Bush. People say Vannevar Bush. No, it was pronounced Van Nevar Bush. And it was called As We May Think. And it was published first in the, I think, Harper's Magazine, and then in Life Magazine. And at my house, we read it in both. We subscribed to both of those. And it posited a machine to be called the Memex. So the scholar of the future, he thought, would have a camera on his forehead. And as you would turn pages, you'd make a connection between this, which you photograph, and this, which you photograph, and he called that a trail. Well, I once telephoned him, and I said I was interested in working on that, but I didn't call him back. I should have. And what he called a trail is essentially now a link, but links are individual. You don't have long chains of links very much. Some people may create them. I get caught in Wikipedia for a long time. If I want to find out something that happened in my life, I look myself up in Wikipedia. It's mostly accurate. Except I had a computer store. When Computer Store became popular in 1979, I started one with friends in Chicago. And we called it the Itty Bitty Machine Company, which had been a joking way of referring to IBM. And it worked perfectly. People would call IBM and say, "Do you have these new computer kits?" And they'd say, "No, call Itty Bitty." And we would get all these phone calls. But according to Wikipedia, we sold the Apple one, but that's not true. We did not sell the Apple one. But Chromemco and IMSI products, the S100 board. I hadn't expected the sudden appearance of cheap computers in 1975 with the Altair computer. Now, it was a terrible design on the so-called S100 bus designed by Ed Roberts, and it was very bad. And they held the first World Altair Computer Conference, and I and my partners went there. And in my notes I wrote, "Well, this Ed Roberts guy looks like a jerk, but the Harvard kid is smart." And that was Bill Gates. Bill Gates contracted for a new version of Computer Lib. But I think he expected it to be complementing Microsoft, and it didn't. So that was a missed opportunity, you could say. So I lived with my lady Marlene for 23 years, and she wouldn't agree to marry me until we knew Doug Engelbart was dying, and we wanted him to perform the ceremony. So finally he and his wife performed the marriage ceremony for us in 2012. That was a great honor. I'd like to talk a lot more. If you look up my eulogy for Doug Engelbart on the web, I actually cried, talking about all the things he was trying to do. He had the notion that he could make people agree, that he would create tools that would bring about agreement. what a wonderful idea. And question is, could he have done something like that? Hello? Could he have done something like that? We'll never know. First thing he would do every morning was milk the cow. That's the way it was in Oregon when he was a boy. Well, I guess I'm kind of running. Oh, yes, a couple of other things. I was very much influenced by a movie by Ivan Sutherland's Sketchpad movie. So in Sketchpad was done at MIT with an interactive light pen, and it allowed him to draw on the screen and move the parts around. And I borrowed this and rented it and showed it to my students at Vassar College, because it told the story of computer graphics more easily than any other form I would know. So writing his description and trying to make the description something people will understand. As I say, it takes a great deal of practice, and it takes a great deal of rewriting. Now, when I was a boy, my first job in college, I worked at the New York Times as a so-called copy boy. And in those days, a reporter would write a story, and then he would cut it up and paste it in some new sequence. And my first job in the morning was to fill the paste pots, which had a tube down the center. They don't do that anymore. And in fact, a friend of mine who worked at the New York Times for 20 years never heard of it. So that was much later. John Marco. I guess I should just leave it open for questions, because I'm kind of at loose ends in this discussion.
Okay. As he said, that we'd like to have some discussion with audience he likes. So first of all, is there anything to say to Ted, or any question to him? Maybe around here. Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much. So, my name is Yasuda, and I have a book right now. And I tried to read this, but it's very hard to read. So why so hard? So please tell me.
I wrote it as simply as I could in 1974.
Right?
I was not thinking particularly of Japanese readers.
I know.
But it has two purposes. One is to if you'll show the group that both sides, the second side is about computer screens and how important they're going to be. And I was right about that, yes?
So I think this is the natural thing for yourself, right?
For
natural things for yourself, right? So very randomly layouted, very
it's all first draft.
Okay, draft. Right. It says draft, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you.
But it had amazing influence. Unfortunately, the people who printed it never paid me. So I came up a couple $100,000 short.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anything? Okay, Mike.
Hi, Ted. I've been waiting years to ask you this question.
Oh, boy.
You personally, not anybody else. And, well, let me go ahead and ask a question. Can we fix the mess that we've made? And if so, do you have some specific ideas? And by mess, let me give you some context. 50 years ago, you wrote about computers being, for people, a mechanism, a weapon, if you will, to liberate themselves, to free themselves. Has that turned out to be what has happened in practice? And if you will forgive me for asking, do you feel like you might have been a little naive at the time? And also, I just heard what you said about Doug, and whether you feel that Doug might have been a little naive. And so the rest of the context when I say a mess, I don't want to insult the people who engineered the internet protocols, because that is sound engineering.
Fabulous.
They got their work done right. We can't say the same thing about the web. It was not engineered. Fundamentally, what you've spoken about and what you just said today, we got the addressing part of it right, URLs, universal addressing. But the higher you go up in the stack from that, the messier it gets. And that's where we are from an engineering point of view. It's hard to imagine how we can unwind a lot of the mess we've made there. But I don't even think that's the most important problem. The bigger problem is that we have created arguably, if I can editorialize, feel that we've created a system naively that has enabled people to be manipulated. And if I can editorialize a little more, you know, some people feel like roughly 50% of the people in any given society are extremely gullible and prone to manipulation. And if you create means to allow them to be manipulated, then you're going to have bad actors manipulating them. I feel in Japan we are a little more resilient to that. We have a better engineered civilization here. I really believe.
What is your name, please?
My name is Mike Smith.
Mike Smith. Okay.
I work for the W3C. So I could editorialize more, but I'd much rather hear what you have to say.
Well, I don't have a lot to say. You're right. and the ways in which bad actors are seizing servers and making trouble on the net. I have no dog in that fight. There's a U.S. government department to take care of it, not. But the threats are coming from everywhere, and the disinformation is coming from everywhere.
Do you have optimism at this point in your life, looking back on how things have evolved? Do you have optimism about where things are headed? And if not, do you have some sense of how we can write the course of things?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Max. And anything?
I recommend very much the Wayback Machine on the Internet Archive. My friend Brewster started the Internet Archive in order to keep track of the ever-changing pages on the web. And now he has 25 petabytes of information, some of which are, well, he crawls the web regularly several times a week, and any changes are recorded so that you can find out what a web page looks like at a given time. That's how it all started, and now the Internet Archive is huge. You're probably familiar with the statues of little soldiers that were found in the ground in China. He's done something, he's done the equivalent. He doesn't pay people much money, but if they work there a couple of years, they get a little statue.
Yeah, online, there is a Nobusato Saito online, and he want to raise a question to you.
Great.
Yeah. So I don't know if he couldn't be here because of his condition today. Can we show his face or?
斉藤先生、どうぞ。
お、出た。No.
はい。
Oh, yes. あれ大きくできる。
Hello, I'm sorry to be late. Too late. Pedro is a good friend of us, Keio University. He came to Keio University in 90. Do you remember this book? I found this book in the bookstore in 1970 or 1980, and maybe it's the first book you wrote. This is not well edited, but there are many interesting and there are two books. You may remember. This is
It's signed for Dean Saito.
and at that time, maybe 20 years ago, Ted Nelson is a special special professor regarding the and I think at that time, in 20 years ago, maybe Microsoft is the best computer architecture, and but even at the time, Pedro works still works and maybe you may remember Professor Naimura, who managed to fulfill PhD degree in Keio University, and but after that he left Tokyo to go to somewhere in United States, and at that time, even at that time, Keio is the most intelligent intelligent professor regarding
斉藤先生、
yes,
斉藤先生、
yes.
村井で
はい
す。
はいはい。あ、はい。
お久しぶりです。
お久しぶりです。すみません、遅れちゃう。
あの時の、テッド・ネルソン犬だった学生が2人この会場に少なくとも、来ています。それで、先生何か特に聞きたいことありますか、テッドに。何か俺は2冊持ってるぞっていうことが大体ポイントですかね。
2冊持ってて、なんで2冊持っちゃったかわかんないんだけど、
片方は自分で買って、片方はフォーディーンノブサイトって書いてあるんですが、TED gave you, right? TED からもらったんだと。
あんまり豊かじゃなかったんで、買ってくれなかったんですけど。だけど、私はこれは非常に、この前、これは多分、いわゆるコンピューターを使った、本作りとか、あるいは、例えば今やってるような、そういう本を作るっていうよりも、まあ、人間の脳とか、そういうインテリジェンスをうまく表現して広げていくっていう、そういうところにつながってるんじゃないかと思うんですけど。
そうですね。
でも私はよくわかんなくて、これ買って喜んでたんだけど。
Okay.
そしたら、
Saito said, let me talk to Ted in English. Yeah, he said, in that time, computer science is like computers, right? And the computers and the technology to support the calculation, mathematics and other things. But your book is always talking about the kind of a human concept and then the human brains and other things. So that's what he wanted to mention. So even that time, then very early, before people noticed that that this is for human being, so you already accessed on that thing with the book. So
Thank you, Dinsato.
どうもありがとうございました、斉藤先生っていうことです。どうもありがとうございました、斉藤先生。本当にお久しぶりにお会いして。
どうすみません、本当に。ちょっともたもたしちゃって。
ありがとうございます。
はい。
はい、斉藤先生、ありがとうございます。では次の質問に行かせていただいてよろしいでしょうか。はい、先に手挙げられてたの。はい、どうぞ。
はい。It's honorable to see you in person, the legendary you. And my question is about generative AIs. Now AI can produce new information, pages and links themselves. So how can those AI change the world of information?
I don't know. I've been following various things that large language models are doing. Sometimes they lie, and sometimes they're accurate, and apparently some of them are good at proposing foldable molecules for medical use that are good. So it's a very confusing panoply of possibilities.
Okay. Okay, next, Tanaka-san, please.
I'm Kaz Tanaka, originally from NTT Telecom engineer. So you contribute this field more than half century. It's amazing. Thank you very much. So looking for the more than half century, so technology changed so much. Let's see a silicon chip, magnetic recording technology. So I believe quantity changes quality. So first time, quick time, very, very small screen, but now 4K, 8K can available through the internet. So in this sense, my question is your idea, hyperlink. So some aspect is still same. Some aspect may be changed, expand the application or role or something. So can I ask you to what is not changed, same? What aspect is changed, expand the application or role for the society, so on? Thank you.
Well, thank you for the question. Links, as I see them now, are very much the way I expected them to be and hoped they would be. On the back of my May sheet, I quote Tim Berners-Lee because he said different things at different times. Get this out. Was the World Wide Web my idea? Uh-oh, can't read it anymore. In his original proposal for the World Wide Web, 1989, Tim Berners-Lee wrote, "There are few products which take Ted Nelson's idea of a wide docuverse literally by allowing links between nodes in different databases." And I have the URL for that. However, the next year, instead of calling it Ted Nelson's idea of a wide docuverse, he called it the World Wide Web.
Okay, thank you very much. And one more question coming from around here.
Thank you very much. My name is Cynthia Yumiko Stab. I'm a writer from Yomiuri Shimbun. I think there is a concern that the information space is being polluted with like disinformation, false information, and other things. What is your view of the current situation? And also, please tell us how to improve it. Thank you.
A wonderful question for which I do not have a wonderful answer. I like to point out that there has always been disinformation. Rich people and governments and dishonest people have spread false information for thousands of years. Now it can be done faster and more efficiently and perhaps less obviously. And your job as a reporter is to authenticate as best you can with the sources and correct information that you can put down. I mean, I'm a subscriber to the New York Times, And I trust them to do that sort of thing, and I'm sure you do too.
Okay. Is it okay? Next one.
My name is Andrew Todd. I'm a software engineer here at KO. And I was thinking about how you said you saw the potential in computers when you realized that they could be connected to monitors, that they were controllable through a mouse and through a keyboard. And for essentially my entire life, that's how I've interacted with the majority of information available to me in the world. That, and more recently, of course, with touchscreens on smartphones. Do you feel like this is optimal, or is there some better way that we should be interacting with information through computers?
It's an excellent question for which I do not have an excellent answer. The information that is presented is organized by someone, and perhaps under headings and under headlines or as footnotes. And this organization, as I've said, is difficult. Writing is difficult, and each of these is a form of writing. And a clickable link is a form of writing. And the issue is trust and finding people and having people, hiring people that are trustworthy and giving them the authority to use that trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
After that.
so thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That was great.
Thank you.
Including the Q&A. Thank you very much for the remote participants as well. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right, thank you for coming back. And this is a final program of before the reception, so of this symposium. And so we kind of heard and listened to the Ted's presentation, and also we had a very nice introduction from Nishi-san and Hattori-san about how we can view Ted's work, and so the summarizing or the whatever the points we have discussed during this afternoon, and then the first two speakers, they already talked in Japanese in the first part of the session, and Hattori-san and Tanaka-sensei to have comments to or questions to Ted as a panelist, and then the Minamizawa sensei, he's a young the moonshot researcher of the country and the Keio University, and then he's going to introduce his researches, and then how we can what's going to be the discussion for the future. So that's basically the story I have in my mind, but I never know what's going to be happening. So so maybe asking if we have spare time, then I'd like to ask you to raise questions or anything. Therefore, be ready. So starting from Hattori-san, go ahead.
I'm very, very happy to see him again, and touched, and still alive. Very, very good shape. And what I hear from him is not so much changed. He's one of confidence and spirits and so forth. And the only Ted Nelson, only one, he's the right person to talk about the future and the information age. And what is more important is that people are so much excited to see you, and you excited so many Japanese researchers and younger people to talk about something else by hearing from you. And Xanadu is itself is something magnificent theory, but it incites other people to be more creative, and they start to think about something else because of you. That's the point, and I'm very happy seeing you again, and I would like to enjoy the rest of the days here very much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Hattori-san. You can talk a lot more if you want, but anyways, so let's go to the Tanaka-sensei.
Although I prepared some slides in English, but since everything is on the fly and the program is quite changed, so I changed my mind. No, not this one. So actually, I skipped most of my slides. Yeah. And as I mentioned in my Japanese presentation, in 90s and late 80s, 80s. In 80s, I used to visit the visionaries and researchers and developers, mainly in Bay Area. And so let me okay, sorry. So I visited all these people. This is just a little. So Adele Goldberg, the Bud Treble is the developer of the Next Step. Scott Fisher, and Brenda Laudel, Ted Nelson, of course, and Doug Engelbart. And Peter Deutsch, he is the Smalltalk developer. But from now on, I changed my presentation. Okay? So I mainly focused on the media architecture in my own research. And my understanding of the media history is the expansion from the personal augmentation to group augmentation or organization augmentation, and finally social augmentation. And first, the hypertext concept is mainly used in personal organization. And typical example, this is actually my last visit to Doug's house, just 30 days before his passing away. So the very important thing about his Xanadu concept shows the quantum jump from the personal or group augmentation to social augmentation. So as I mentioned already in my Japanese talk, he focused on the non-linear writing, not on non-linear reading. The hypertext is mainly understood as a non-linear reading. And the final goal is to liberate people to publish his or her idea to the world without any burden. So he actually showed the quantum jump at the very beginning of the whole history. And before that, hypertext is also used in the CSCW groupware and also the IBIS or its graphical version, JIBIS. And even in the personal augmentation period, they extended the link itself. The navigation link is just a code link, no functionality. Hot link propagates the update. But these days, they also put functional linkage. So there are several examples of exploiting hypertext framework to integrate the personal information environment, the word processor, outline processor, the spreadsheet, the map, or even expert systems. All these are related, not just navigation, but if you specify some area on the map, then this is reflected to the visualization or retrieval result visualized on the spreadsheet. So all these are done in Notepad and Analyst. Analyst is the one developed by Xerox XSIS, Special Information Systems. The special actually denotes something related to military. Yeah. And I myself try to expand the personal augmentation media architecture, intelligent pad, to the social media architecture, exploiting the idea of memes, the cultural genes. So like genes, people can extract some portion of the published compound document and combine them together with other components to create a new compound, dynamic, functional documents. This was my dream, but this was also mentioned by Mark Stefik. In 1986, he pointed out the importance of developing a knowledge medium that embodies the characteristics of memes. And this was published in the book, which was given by one of the supporter of the Xanadu system at Xanadu Operating Company, Roger Gregory. Yeah. And this book is Ecology of Computation. So Mark Stefik's article is republished in this one. What about Ted? Do you know this pop-up book or pop-up version of Kubla Khan? Yeah. So still there are lots of other things which is not restudied by academy. Okay? And there are lots of things to do in the future. one is transclusion, yeah, together with the royalty service and micropayment. And the other is nonlinear writing. For example, I know some writers, international writers and the Japanese writers, and they developed their own way of writing and note-taking their the ideas, and someone accumulate lots of paper slips with some sentences in it, on it, and we edit them. The typical example is Wittgenstein. Yeah. You know, all the sentences in his work are numbered. Yeah. Right?
I didn't remember that.
So the second picture is from the Orson Welles movie Citizen Kane, and you should notice that the unconstructed, incompletely constructed the paradise of the newspaper, the Baron, was called Xanadu, right? And so all of us should study his work and try to find out a way to solve these the remaining problems. And I would like to pick up one more thing. The reason why I was very much interested in the Bay Area is that different from the case in Japan, in United States, there are three categories of the contributors: the academy, industry, and the third one is individuals, independent. And there are lots of independent researchers, especially in Bay Area. I don't know the situation in East Coast. So I have lots of friends there. He is one of them, and Douglas Engelbart, and Jack Park, the author of XML Topic Map, and now he is trying to develop the open source version of Watson. And my question to Ted is that would you please tell me why you have so many the researchers and visionaries in this third category of community? And they all share Jeffersonian the ideology. And
I'm not aware of any researchers based on my work.
Would you mention a little bit about Jeffersonian ideology? Jeffersonian ideology. Jeffersonian.
Jeffersonian, oh yeah. Well, Jefferson said in the Declaration of Independence that all men are created equal, but of course he owned slaves.
I think this word denotes those people who believe the power of science and technology to change the world. Many such people in the United States.
So he mentioned about in Japan, we don't have many, but in US, a lot of that kind of individual researcher type of with a very strong impact. So, is there any,
I don't study these things.
Okay. Let me.
You embody Jeffersonian.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a very important thing that Tanaka Sensei is going to be, exposing, because a lot of, homework of yours from, Zana type is not being achieved yet. So probably that's kind of considered as a homework. But, I have one very specific question that you repeatedly mentioned that the link is not bidirectional in the type, and then you talked about the bidirectional link type of thing from the day one.
I argued with Tim Berners-Lee about that in Minnesota and in Tokyo.
Yeah. So what is your? Yeah. Can you share that? Discussion again?
Yeah. Well, it's not going to happen. So therefore, I wouldn't. Well, Wendy Hall, Dame Wendy Hall, OBE, based her thesis work, I believe, on a system called Microcosm, in which she did implement two-way links. But that is no longer viable.
Yeah, technically that can be achieved, right?
By other entirely different means, yes.
Yeah, so I think that is a matter of, from a designer of internet, then it used to be a matter of kind of computation power of each of the nodes, but I think a lot of things has been solved in terms of that direction. So each of the nodes has this power type of a thing, and then so I think a situation has been changed, and because of the video encoding, video decoding, it's one of the examples that long time ago, then we never thought that video encoding, decoding, and encryption, decryption, complicated calculation cannot be performed by each of the nodes on the internet. But now it's doable. So then that background situation has been changed. Therefore, all the homework is very much challengeable with today's computing power and the resources, I believe. So that's a very interesting point. But by saying that, then probably I'd like to ask Kota Minamizawa-san, who's a leader of the young researcher in this country, and then also from Keio universities, to share his what he's doing, and then relating to or unrelated to today's discussion, please.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So it's a great pleasure to be here with the grandfathers of the internet, like Ted and David as well. So yeah, I think why June called me is that to introduce you that how your grandchildren's doing the research is to do your homeworks. I'm currently a professor at the Graduate School of Media Design, which is one of the newest graduate school in this university. Actually, Jun is one of the founders that he designed this graduate school 16 or 17 years before to envision the future and creating the future with combining the expertise of technology and also design and also business management and also the policy. So we are actually really curious about how we can build the future. It's not just about the technology, but it's also about our human life. And also it's about our society. So then in that graduate schools, I'm leading a team called Embodied Media, where we are trying to connect the human perceptions and the human experiences with the digital technology to empower the people. So I'm working on the various kind of technologies like delivering the sense of touch on the internet or creating new full body experiences on your body in the VR, XR environment. And also this is a human surrogate that copy your behaviors and also the act as your surrogate in the distant places. Or we also sometimes make your additional bodies like extra arms or tails, which is actually the kind of the origins. One of the origins should be the Douglas Engel about the human augmentation and also that kind of also Max McLuhan, like how this kind of technology can expand our ability. That is our curiosity. So then regarding the haptics, the sense of touch, this is one of the projects we did 10 years before, like delivering the sense of touch over the internet. We capture how we feel the object and the materials and digitalize that into the information. Then transfer on the internet and represent in the distant places. So you can share this kind of feeling over the internet. You can share your experience, your memory to the other people. Of course, it's also possible to make a new way of communication, and also we can also digitalize the materials and textures. It means that we can also create generative materials or generative textures because we can have a lot of data on the internet. So we really exploring how, starting from your hypertext concept, how internet can connect the more modalities, more experiences. Starting from text, we can share our audio or hearing abilities. We can share what we see with the video transportation. Then now becomes possible to share our sense of touch. This is about how we connect the haptics over the internet. So then during COVID, actually, pandemic, all of us are facing that we cannot touch together in physical world. But in the digital world, on the network, it's possible because there's a virus, computer virus, but there's no COVID virus. So we can touch in the distant places, the people in the distant places, or we can connect the families and grandparents and the grandsons over the internet. Even they are physically isolated, we can stay connected with a sense of presence and a sense of touch. So this kind of technology can be also available to connect the people with the digital environment. So this is the full body haptic suit. You can wear the clothes. Then this is also connected with a smartphone. Then it also connected with the GPS. Then it presents the feeling of your body according to where you are and what you are doing. So maybe you can feel something around you, but it's not physically there. It's on the layer of the digital world. So then we are creating this kind of technology and also designing new way of human experiences. This is also helpful for example, the visually impaired blind people because they can get understanding of the environment without the sight, but just with your physical skin. So then now, it's also become possible to connect the presence and the bodies on the internet. So it means that you have another body in the distant places. So this is the work that we did with my supervisor, Professor Tachi. He's also the pioneer of the VR and robotics in Japan. But now you can see that your robot synchronizes with your motion. Then you can see what the robot sees. You can hear what the robot hears. Also, you can touch and feel what the robot touches. You can feel the gravity. You can feel the stiffness. You can feel the texture. You can feel the temperature. You can feel as if you're there. You're not here. You're inside of the robot. So it's kind of your brain. Your brain is transferred into the robot. Your body is robot. You're presence, you are existing in the place of the robot, then of course we can connect these modalities on the digital network. Then we can place the robot anywhere. So this is a startup company we have created 7 years before, which is called Teleexistence Inc., which is the concept that beyond telephone, television, we can connect the people's existence in the remote places. So then in this startup company, we envision that what if we can have alternative body, another body, on the different place of the world, and we can connect with that body over the internet. It means that it's kind of the teleportation. You can be there, you can communicate with the people there, and you can also behave, and you can also bring some kind of action to the different places. So then also, it means that it's also possible to bring this kind of the robot on the space station, or maybe Mars or Moon. So then you can go there without the rocket. So this is, now it became from the technology to the how people live or how human beings survive in the world. So then now actually the Moonshot project is aiming to integrate this kind of a new way of human being into the current society, because we have a lot of social issues, like Japan is a super aging society. We have a lot of kind of the human kind of children is there's more kind of seniors, but less children, less laborers. So yeah, how we can create more diverse and inclusive future with the technology? That's the big agenda that we are facing. So then this is a very interesting example that we are doing. So this is an actual cafe in Tokyo. You can actually visit there. If you visit there, you can see the robot is serving you. But robot is not AI. It's not AI robot. It's a human. It's a human behind the robot. So he's one of the pilot. He's actually born with a very heavy disability. He have never work. He have never experienced to work by himself, but he can control the robot using eye tracking and brain mass interfaces. He have a body now, so that he can communicate with the guest, and he can serve the coffee. And actually here, he is controlling two bodies at the same time. So he's having his physical body in his home, but now he's controlling two robotic bodies at the same time to serve the people. Then he's now possible to work and engage into the society. So now, it becomes possible, not just text, audio, video, haptics, but also connecting the body. Then now, what if we can also connect the human mind and emotion? So this is a project we did in 2020, 3-4 years before. That this is a dance performance that where we measure the audience emotion with using a physiological sensing. We can somehow calculate or measure human emotion, human relaxation or concentration or anger kind of things. Then we connect the audience, 30-40 audience's emotion on this stage. Like you can see the raw data of these kind of individual emotions. Then we reflect that on the stage environment, like light, sound, blah, blah, blah. Then the dancers can feel the audience emotion from the environment and react to the audience. Then audience react to the performance. Audience changing their emotion. It will be reflected on the stage. This is really actually interaction loop, bi-directional loop, connected the human emotion between the audience and dancers. So now, this is a final movie that I will be showing. Now, everything is starting to be integrated. So our text, our knowledges, our modalities, and also our body, our emotion are connected all together it's thanks to actually internet, because internet can support, assist to connect this kind of data. So then now, this is a very latest project we did this month. It's that he's actually also ALS patient. He cannot move his body anymore. He cannot speak anymore. But actually he can use the digital network to get his emotion and control the tablet with eye tracking. Then he can speak with a machine voice. And also he can control his robotic body with brain mass interface. So now, it's also, of course, we integrate some AI technology as well to support his actions. So when he go to the, for example, the vegetable and the fruit shop, he can grab the apple and select that and buy that. Also, he can communicate with his friend when he meet somebody in the street. So the AI can detect, oh, somebody is moving their hand. Then he can also try to copy that. So everything is controlled by BMI and eye tracking. But behind that, we have AI technology and we have internet that capturing the data from the environment, transfer that to the server, calculate that, then coming back to the body and embody this kind of a reaction on this kind of a physical, robotic kind of a human augmentation setup. Yeah, so now I believe that now after internet of things, now internet of haptics coming, and also that we can connect human experiences on the internet. Internet of bodies, probably in the next future, maybe internet of humanity itself. We can be connected and we can change how we live and how we communicate. So yeah, this kind of technology is starting to change our body and change our mind. I'm also working with the brain scientists and also sociologists and also the philosophers that how we have new concept of self. With having this kind of a new way of kind of represent yourself or react to the society, like eyeglasses. Many of you have eyeglasses. One of you have a Vision Pro. But yeah, this kind of glasses changing our perspectives and make it possible for us to behave actively. So then, why not our bodies? Why not our limbs? So then also, yeah, now we can communicate beyond space and time. And in our project Moonshots, we are really focusing on creating this kind of a future that where we can actively participate in the social activities and communicate regardless the limitation of our bodies and disability as well, distances as well. Yeah, thank you very much. So this is pretty much something that we are starting to think about.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for the exciting new challenges for your researchers. And so, what do you say?
It's very impressive, but also, of course, very expensive.
That's right.
To maintain that person in that condition is not a trivial project.
Yeah, actually, that's true. But of course, especially for the ALS and these heavy disabilities, we also need to spend a lot of kind of money actually for creating new medicines. But it also takes a lot of time. For the people who actually have the disabilities, they cannot wait. While waiting for the new medicines or new way of the medical kind of the solutions, so they will losing their life. So what we can do as engineers is, I think that we can provide the solutions, cutting-edge technologies that can maintain and maintain their life and maintain their communications. So yeah, of course, in the future, in maybe next centuries, we have a new solution, medical solution for the ALS. But yeah, why not doing this kind of engineering and technology solution if we have that?
Dave, you wanna, can somebody give the microphone to Dave?
Just a comment, well, a couple of comments. That's a very, very interesting. Years ago, I went to a meeting in Hollywood called Artificial Humans, where they were trying to, obviously, for the movie industry, create artificial people, past people who were dead, potentially, current films. But the comment that it's expensive, nothing to stop me from renting a person, a synthetic person, so I don't have to have one of my own. I just have to be able to get one. As I don't have to have an airplane, I can share an airplane. I'm wondering, my mind sort of trips into space exploration and things like that. What do you do about the latency problem? The latency problem.
Latency is, actually that's also the matter. So it depends on because our body also have a latency actually. When we see some object and grasp it, there's a latency of approximately 200 milliseconds. Right. Actually, it was a matter 10, 20 years before. Move this kind of robot within 200 milliseconds was the technical issue 20 years before. But now, as you know, the internet is fast enough. Now it's starting to exceed the speed of nerves.
But there's still the light latency. Still, to go.
But humans, also human body is slow enough comparing with the current internet. Actually, we have enough time window to capture human intention on the brain and send some data on the internet. Data is coming back, and maybe computational something on the AI, then coming back and actuate the motors.
But if I send somebody to Mars, if I'm controlling something in Mars, I'm now talking about
yes, that's the issue, yes. For that kind of the more kind of far away, so we definitely need some kind of estimation algorithm that, so we can estimate human intention and start the robot, your body, another body also start moving. Then somehow, for example, internet gaming is already there, that the game server try to estimate your next action, then try to prepare that. So that is not yet integrated with this kind of technology, but in the next future, that's possible.
Yeah, the latency discussion is very interesting, and as Minamizawa-san said, and it's the communication part is not that difficult. Well, I was, repeatedly said that the size of the planet Earth is like 133 milliseconds in an RTT, which is very much a little bit shorter than the kind of a brain reaction type of a thing. So I think a lot of hope, in the future. So and also I'd like to mention about the price, expensive thing, right? And one of the projects I'd like to share with all of you is called the medical inclusion. This CCRC is now challenging to at least for the discussion. The medical inclusion project is originally targeted for think about the children dying. And we need $1 million USD medicine to fix it. And then, so who can pay for that in this planet? And then, so nobody paying for that. So children are dying today. So is there any way that beyond the border of our nation states or whatever, any human being is going to be working together to save those children? And then, so a sharing of the cost might be possible. And then creating the new way of insurance system for the investing for the future, and then the kid survived might be getting a lot of money, and so in total of average, then probably it might work. So what asked me is that the new web technology or any other, well, assuming the global space is really connected, and then the medical regulation is gone, and then what's going to be the world. So that is a very much extreme discussion we have started, and so very similar thing. I feel, listening to his talk, and then so if deployment is successfully done, then the cost would be reduced drastically.
That's true.
But so the research is always nice, and the demonstration is always nice. But at the same time, then the deployment and the business and those message is going to be very important. I believe this presentation was great in terms of enough power to convince people to believe in. So my age, it was impossible to have that kind of a fancy video about the future of the internet thing.
That's also the power of internet.
So Tanaka sensei, what did you think? I mean, about listening to Minamizawa-san's talk?
Yeah, I'm also very much interested in, and I think maybe some of you have read Dragons of Eden, written by Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan is famous for his cosmos, but the Dragons of Eden is also very interesting. And he picked up the importance of extra-somatic information. Biological evolution is mainly based on somatic information. But after introduction of the extra-somatic information, human being could achieve very high-speed evolution. Yeah. And what he tried to do is to externalize the typical somatic information, sense data. Yeah. And once sense data is externalized, then it can be easily edited or stored or sent to other people. So the re-editing and sharing can become possible. And this is quite a big quantum jump. So I'm very much interested in.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, actually, recently, for example, NVIDIA or OpenAI, this kind of AI company also starting to digitalize the human data with using this kind of robotic avatars. Actually, they would like people to control the robotic avatar and capture the data and create an AI. Then human being is not needed anymore. But on the other hand, what we would like to do is not just digitalize, not just creating a human copy, but bring this kind of information back to the human to expand the human's ability. I'm actually, more curious about how human being can be expanded and augmented rather than how we create a copy of the human. Of course, technically it's also possible, but yeah.
So any other comments or discussion, or you wanna raise? Puri-san, are you okay? Oh, go ahead, Moriyama-san.
Can I have a question, not about Minamizawa sensei's talk, but
anything.
Okay,
A question to Hattori-san is okay.
Thank you. So,
not to me. Sorry.
Okay. My name is Koichi Moriyama, and thank you very much anyway for TED, for your coming to Tokyo, Japan, and also talk, everything. It was very interesting to me that the original idea for creating hypertext was not only for hypertext for reading, but writing. It's very interesting to me. And I always thinking, writing and how to think is very related. And in English, essay has a structure of introduction, body, and conclusion or summary. But in Japan, as we all know here, Kisho Tenketsu, the structure of essay is very different. Introduction, further, something different, and conclusion. Hard to understand in English brain. So what is a sort of utilizing hypertext for writing? It could make more complex, or actually, retrieving what we are thinking from brain to something in language. Can you tell us your thought, how hypertext will help us how to think, to deliver the message? Thank you.
Well, thank you. I've always tried to write for people to understand. And so that the issue is the same. How to use linkage properties as a way of clarifying. And we see some of that, and I'd like to see more of it. Yeah, I subscribe to the New Yorker, and you can click on their articles online and see them, and they've been written long form articles, but you just click to the beginning. So that's a different approach.
Yeah, his question included the matter of the languages. All right, how many languages do you speak? One. Okay, English. Okay.
A little bit of Spanish.
All right. So, is that linguistic issue about understanding the text and then all the text-based hypertext including, and so what do you think about the language, multiple languages spoken all over the world, and then so the wisdom is very much I should say impacted by the language, right? So
well, if you go, I'm a big fan of Wikipedia. And if you're reading an article on Wikipedia, you can change the language. So there's some sort of automatic translation facility that makes it possible. Now, of course, they're not always right. They said my first computer store sold the Apple I, it didn't. But whenever I want to check something about my life, I look myself up on Wikipedia. I forget.
Yeah, that's a kind of dropping to my prepared thing. So because I've been discussing about the Wikipedia multi-language with Jimbo Wales a lot, and then Jimmy Wales, who invented the Wikipedia. So
it's not so much an invention. Kicked it started.
Exactly, but then his observation about through the operation of the Wikipedia, and then he visited Japan. So he was asking me why the Wikipedia Japan is so different than the English version. I mean, as his question. So even for the web, right? Web started as a kind of opinion journalism type of a thing in the United States. I mean, I think this way, type of a thing to the public. In Japan, started as a personal diary type of a thing, which was a very much a popular thing. And the Wikipedia thing is a anonymous representation, and then a very much a contribution type of efforts to create the Wikipedia page has been happening in in Japan and then not in the any other part of the world. So the question was,
Wait, how is it different in Japan?
it's a very much the anonymous contribution type of a thing. So no sign.
That's how it is in English.
Yeah, but then in English there would be a lot more logical type of thing. So it's really the the literature of the multiple language oriented thing, not necessarily be could be equal by the translation type of a thing. So automatic translation is now getting good, get better. But so I thought what Moriyama-san said, and I'm pretty much agree. But there is a kind of a detailed cultural discussion type of a thing, and of the writing is a little bit different. And so how the kind of text-based communication platform can respect that kind of diversity. Probably that's my way of describing the issue. But what do you think?
I don't really understand what you just said.
Yeah, so that's cultural impacts for any language. Language really depend on the very logical language versus the not logical language. And
I thought all language. It's possible to express logical thoughts in any language, but people might not.
All right. So you believe in translation?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. That's a great answer to his question, I think. Okay. So it's about the time, but is there any almost the last question or the opinions you want to raise? Mike, go ahead.
This isn't a question, but just a request, suggestion to Ted. What I would like to hear you talk about and give an update about is your thoughts on what you have termed in one of your books, at least, the fight for civilization. Your autobiography, it's, My Computer Life, subtitle, The Fight for Civilization. I think in Geeks Bearing Gifts, the last few chapters are also about this, the last chapter specifically, but, when's the last time you actually published a full-form book? Was it your Posiplex, or has there been one since? Oh. When was that?
I think 2010, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, so my point of asking is, it's been a few years since you've written long form, your thoughts on this.
Well, also Geeks Bearing Gifts, which I wrote very carefully.
Right, and so I'm mentioning, specifically what you talked about in the last chapter of that book, I think it's the last chapter, Why We Fight. And then also, like I said, the subtitle of your autobiography in the context of that, the fight for civilization. And I'd just like to hear your thoughts about, an update about what you've been thinking about that.
Well, I thought it was I expected more truth, and that the mechanisms we were providing, including, for example, transclusion and as a way of instantaneous quotation, that these were mechanisms that would contribute to truthiness. Who is the truthiness? Anyway, now I'm not so optimistic.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but if we have time, June, just for Ted to maybe expand on that a bit, what makes you not optimistic, I guess, specifically? It's some specific things that give you cause for lack of optimism.
I don't wish to get into current events, so I won't.
Okay. So, David, you want to say something?
Yeah, just fast thing, just to No, there were comments which seemed to say that somehow a monster has been created. We now can say bad things more efficiently. On the other hand, we've always prided at least some countries have prided the ability for people to say what they want to say, and for people to learn how to judge the validity of that. That seems not to be as powerful as we thought it would be. Democracy has always had problems, but basically the internet, in my view, has created a Hyde Park worldwide. In the UK, anybody can stand up in Hyde Park and say anything they want, and the audience judges the validity of that. And
That's a nice
what we've
analogy.
done. It's that part. Yeah, I think it's an excellent analogy. And in the past, the only people who could lie to us, all of us, were the newspapers and the politicians. Now we can all, if we want to, and we have to learn how to deal with that. It's going to be painful. And probably it has to start in the schools. People have to be educated not just on how to write, but how to judge things.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it was very nice. Again, Ted, thank you very much for coming back to Japan, Keio, and also the Minamizawa-san great presentation to be shared with all of us. And Tanaka Sensei, I'm very happy that you are jumping out of Hokkaido and coming to here to share your experience and the wisdom. And Hattori-san also, you've been, in this space, very close to TED as well. And thank you very much, everybody. That this, I believe, that the historical moment to be shared, and it might be a little bit of difficulty about understanding everything. I understand, but I think all of this experience, I hope that it's a kind of great page of your life. And thank you very much.